Do you ever wonder what it's like to almost die in a motorcycle accident? I used to wonder all the time. I used to sit there and imagine me getting hit by a car on my Harley, or falling off a cliff on my dirt bike, or just smashing a wall at like 100 miles an hour. But now, I don't need to wonder because I know what it's like. You see, about 4 years ago, I was involved in a desert racing circuit. My neighbor, he was the president of this big riding club. They're called the Desert Vipers. Maybe you've heard of them. Probably not. My father and I, we used to go out with them all the time. We just ride for days. One year, Larry, the president, he came up to me. He's like, "John, you want to start racing?" I thought, that sounds like fun. Let's try it out. Little did I know, that'd be one of the most life-changing decisions of my life. Every year, the Desert Vipers host one of the largest racing circuits in California known as the Adelanto Grand Prix. Thousands of riders come out from all over the state to race in this grueling event. It involves a 9-mile course consisting of street, desert, and a motocross track. I'd raced in it the year before, and I figured I knew what I was doing. However, I had a new, more powerful bike that I only ridden a couple times. Well, that was the beginning of the end for me. The start of the race is epic anyways. It's not like your typical lineup of like 10 people. It's actually a giant group of like 300 riders all starting at the same time. Everyone lines up as close to the front as you can, and you wait for this big flag to drop. When you think about it, it doesn't really sound like a good idea having all 300 riders racing for this small, narrow trail at the same time. Anyways, no one seemed to care because the second that flag dropped, bam, we were all out, on the way, and ready for whatever happens. The rules of the race are simple. Basically, you have 45 minutes to complete as many circuits of the track as possible. For example, I'd done it a year before, and I completed 3 circuits, which comes out to 27 miles. This year, I was shooting for 5, which means I was going to have to be on a really quick pace. The desert and street sections are no problem for me since I've had many experience of those, and it was just easy. However, it was a motocross track where I experienced most of the most horrifying experience ever. You see, I was knee-deep in the race. Riders on all sides of me, and I came around one of these sharp turns at the very end of the desert section right before the motocross track, and I faced this 30-foot monster jump that I just had to hit, So I gassed it and I went for it. I hit the ramp and I shot straight in the air, and then bam, everything's in slow motion. I'm looking around and I see over the top of everything, and it's like magic, It's one of the coolest feelings ever. Anyways, it was short-lived because all of a sudden I hear this burn, burn. I hear this sound behind me, and I look back, and what is it? It's a bike right on top of me, heading straight for me. And then all of a sudden, bam, it went black. Now listen up. The rest of the story I'm telling you is not from what I know. It's from what the people on the sidelines told me when I woke up. The bike that hit me, it was a 650, which is a pretty large and heavy dirt bike, and it hit me right in the back of my head and knocked me unconscious mid-air. Then I landed on the ground, and my bike went God knows where, and the same guy that hit me landed on my back, narrowly missing my spine. Well, hold on. I want to warn you, the following is a bit disturbing. What happened was, I woke up in the ambulance, and I was dazed and confused, and there was this doctor, and he was shining his light in my eye, and he was screaming, "He's alive! He's alive!" Well, right away I knew that probably wasn't a good thing. No, it's great that I'm alive, but the fact that he's so surprised to see it is probably not a good thing. Well, I tried to get up, right, see what's going on, but I had this super sharp pain in my back, and I was like, oh, what the hell? Well, what they told me was that sorry, it's tough for me. The rider that had landed on me, he took off, he knew what he had done. He landed right on me, and he almost killed me. He gassed it, and he took off. And his rear tire that was on my back started spinning around, and what it did is it ripped through my jersey and ripped off, all the skin on my back, basically. The doctors, they tried to show me with the mirror, and what I saw was this big, bloody tire mark on my back. And I felt sick. But I didn't feel sick because of my back. I felt sick because if I realized that if my back looked like this, if I looked like this, then what did my bike look like, you know? I don't care about me. I just want to know what my bike, is it okay? You know, thankfully, one of the spectators on the side, they jumped up and they grabbed my bike and they pulled it off the track before it could be just destroyed with all the riders riding over it. Thank God. That's oh man. He came up to me. He was standing next to me and he said, "Son, I pulled your bike off and there's not a scratch on it." Whew, big relief. Oh man, as long as my bike's fine, then everything's great. So anyways, the doctor told me that I probably need to stay off my bike for a while and that I shouldn't ride and that I need to try to avoid falling asleep because I had a concussion. That wasn't good news. Well, anyways, my buddy Chip, a riding buddy of mine, he was in the same race, and I found out that he crashed too. He fell on a sharp turn, and his peg, which is like about this big, could fit in your pocket, you know? It stabbed him right in the knee, all the way to the bone. It was awesome. Anyways, all in all, I can say that I learned a lot from this experience, and it changed me into a better person. I realized that life isn't all about having fun. Life is about making the important decisions and the right decisions and being a better person. Well, actually, I didn't really learn anything because even though the doctor told me to stay off the bike, I raced again the next day.